Registrar, can you please call the witness? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. Number 2, welcome back to our afternoon sessions. As usual, may I remind you, we are still under oath.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tamra and Mr. Sanya. We are happy to have you back, and sorry that we are reconvening late because we had an exigent situation that we were dealing with. So this is why we are coming in back a bit late. Thank you for your understanding. Can we proceed?
Can I just confirm whether you had questions in respect of the previous file, because I'll be moving to another file.
You are moving to another file?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can I have a look at the file that... Okay, you can proceed.
Assistant Registrar, kindly hand over this file. This is KMC/KETP 13 of 2022 to the witnesses. Now, this is a procurement in respect of 4 children's playground. May I direct you to the Canifing Environmental Transformation Program letter dated, not a letter, Procurement Committee meeting minutes dated 9th December 2022.
Yes, Council, lead council.
Okay. So the agenda for the meeting is review the bidding documents for the construction of 4 parks with 4 children's playground and business. Now they have said that in the review, the bidding documents for the construction of 4 parks with 4 children's playground, the following amendments were agreed by the committee: to reduce by $50,000 the cost of each park with children, remove boreholes from all 4 parks with children's playground and suggested water work, which will be less expensive than boreholes, change the concrete paveway to sand paveway, remove the security post in order to be within the project budget, and recommended council to take responsibility of the post, apply for a period of 2 weeks in order to be within the project timeline. Under any other business, that the committee recommended the bidding period be reduced to 2 weeks. The committee charged the project manager with requesting approval from GPPA for a 2-week bidding period. In his closing remarks, the meeting chair expressed appreciation for the committee's meticulous examination of the bid documents. He urged the procurement officer to implement the committee's suggestions and submit the document to GPPA later. Now, the date of that meeting is 9th December 2022. I believe you had previously said that the 2022 Act came into force in October or November?
November 2020.
In November.
Yes.
So this procurement would fall under the new act.
Yes, this one is in December.
Okay. Now, your act doesn't define what small works is, does it?
No, Council.
Is there a period, is there a prescribed bidding period? I think under the old act is 30 days.
Yes.
Is it the same in this?
It is.
And I know that they're applying for a reduction of the time to 2 weeks, even though it's for construction of parks. Do you think that the 2 weeks are sufficient to have bidders prepare for the procurement?
Yes, that's the request, and the regulation provides for that reduction to 2 weeks.
So I know the regulation is for 2 weeks, but do you think that 2 weeks is sufficient for the bidders to prepare the documents, the bidding documents, in respect of a construction of this sort?
Yes, Council, that's our belief.
Pardon?
Yes, that's the belief, that's our belief.
Very well.
Can we be referred to the regulation which talks about the 2 weeks?
Check. Led by
In the meantime, I refer you to the letter that they have sent to you dated the 12th of December 2022. The submission of companies for restricted tender for 4 parks with 4 children's playgrounds.
Yes, 12 December 2020,
Okay.
yes.
So they've sent you, okay, let me just read. It says they write to submit to your office approval for the bidding documents for the construction of 4 children's playgrounds in Bakote, Kotu, Kanifing, and Bundung. The project intends to confine to restricted tender and would appreciate if you can grant us approvals to shorten the bidding period to 2 weeks to ensure delay and encounter preparation of the bill of quantities and drawings. Below are the names of the companies shortlisted for RFQ. Number 1 is Scope. Number 2, Falcon. Number 3, MJ20 Construction and Civil Engineering. Number 4, Ndache Enterprises. Now, let me refer you to Section 44 of the 2022 Act, which deals with restricted tender. Now, the Act provides that under subsection 1, it says the restricted tendering.
Sorry, what section is that?
44 of the 2022 Act. Subsection 1 reads, the restricted tendering method is essentially the pre-tender method, with the exception that the short established by the procuring organization without pre-qualification or agreement. 2, method, the procuring organization restricts the issue of bidding documents to a limited number of specified economic operators when A, works or services required are of a specialized nature or can number of specialized economic operators or reputable sources, all of whom are known to the procuring organization. The time and cost of considering a large number of bids is disproportionate to the value of the procurement. C, there is a goods, works, or services so that there would be insufficient time for the procuring organization to engage in open bidding, provided that the circumstances giving rise to the urgency could not have been foreseen by the procuring organization and have not been caused by dilatory conduct on its part, or D, it falls within the thresholds established for it in the regulations. Now, can you tell us whether this procurement falls under any of the provisions of subsection 2, which allows the procuring organization to use restricted tender as a method?
Yes, Council. It also falls within the threshold for restricted tender.
Which is?
For works up to 15,000.
15 million?
15 million, yes.
Okay. And then 3? It says, sorry, not 3. 4. It says under this method, the shortlist shall consist of a minimum of 5 economic operators and the procuring organization at least 3 responsive bids or quotations or proposals. Does this comply?
Please cancel. The shortlist here is 4.
The shortlist and the requirement of the Act is 5.
5, yes.
Now 5, it says the procuring organization must justify the choice of the economic invited to participate. Have they provided any justification for choosing these 4 economic operators?
No, the justification provided is for the choice of the procurement method.
So my question is, did they provide a justification for the choice of the economic operators invited to participate as provided for in section 44 sub 5? Very well. Now I refer you to their letter dated the 23rd December 2022. Your authority.
Yes, Council. Here's the letter.
Now, previously, I believe either you or Mr. Sanya had said that under the old Act, they needed to seek your approval to extend the bidding period.
Yes.
Is that the same under this Act?
That's what my colleague was checking. It was captured in the regulation. That's the regulation.
For the extension of the bid period? Do you have the provision?
Yes, regulation 59. Regulation 59.
Okay, can you direct us or read the provision that you're relying on?
Deadline for submission of bids. Subject to sub-regulation 2, deadline for or dispatch of the invitation to bid. A. In the case of procurement whose estimate value is above $500,000 or more. B. In the case of a restricted bidding, the minimum period shall be 14 days.
Right. So my question was, do they need to seek your permission or your approval to reduce the time of this new legislation?
Under the current...
I believe Chair was asking about that specific provision earlier. So
that's what she has just read.
Yes. So I'm asking now, in respect of this Act, do they need to seek your approval to reduce or extend the time, as the case may be?
Yes, that's the common practice, Council.
Now, this letter, dated the 23rd December 2022, they are saying, thank you for the letter of approval for our intended procurement method and bidding document for the construction of the above reference. We are pleased to inform you that due to the Christmas festive season, we intend to change the notified date for the opening of the tender from 27th December 2022 to 12th 2023. By this letter, is invited to the tender on the said date at noon. Thank you in advance for your kind support and consideration. Would you consider seeking your approval to extend the time?
Yes, normally that's the understanding.
No, this letter, are they seeking your approval to extend the time?
That's what I mean. I said that's the understanding we have here, because
are they asking you for you that they have extended the time?
Strictly by going by the content of the letter is information.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're saying strictly by going by the information on the letter. Which other information would you be going by?
Informing us that they have shifted the 27th December to the 12th January. because of the festive occasion.
Now, do you think they did not know that Christmas was coming when they were seeking to reduce the time?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to speak for them, but obviously everybody knows the days for Christmas.
So do you think that it's a just extent after reducing the bidding period, and whether it's in the prospective bidders, then at the last minute to to tell you that they're extending the period?
Yeah, if you check here, because the letter was dated 23rd, and the bid opening was supposed to be so about 4 days before the deadline for submission.
Let's assume that those 4 days are not weekend days.
I'm not sure whether calendar or working days, but about 4 days anyway. However, with the extension, we did not see it. We did not see it as a distort or create.
That may distort.
Yes. That's why it wasn't a big issue as far as we are concerned.
Okay, so this provision, Regulation 59 that you have said, the regulation is clear that the deadline for bid submission should not be less than 30 days.
Should not be?
Less than 30 days. Regulation 59(1).
Yeah, that's the normal.
Normal bidding period should not be less than 30 days. So it should be from 30 days up.
Yes.
And one would assume the reason why there's a minimum time is so that the bidders can prepare sufficiently to send in their documents.
Yes.
Right. So it also gives you leeway in the case of restricted bidding to reduce it. It's only in the case of restricted bidding that it has says that you reduce the minimum period and you can be.
Yes, Council.
And the considerations for that reduction are found in subsection 2, sub-regulation 2. And it says factors to be considered in determining the period of time to be allowed, the nature and complexity of the object of the procurement, whether the item to be procured is readily available commercially or must be produced to the unique specifications of the procuring organization, the time period during which the fulfilled, whether it is anticipated that foreign bidders will participate, and required for the distribution of invitations to bid and bidding documents. Now, they have chosen to reduce the period to 14 days.
Yes.
And as you have said, everybody knows when Christmas is. So they knew that Christmas would be within that period. They have now come back to tell you that they're extending it. And the reason they're giving you for the extension is that Christmas is coming.
Yes.
A justifiable reason to have, especially after the bidding period, to now extend it.
Yeah, this is a very interesting situation. As I earlier said, the festive occasion all and sundry. 11th hour they decided to extend it. So, and unfortunately, they did not, apart from the festive occasion, there wasn't any other recent advance. So we can only take it that it was for the festive occasion.
Now, Regulation 59, 3 and 4 says when the procuring organization can extend the deadline for submission. 3 reads, a procuring organization may extend the deadline for submission of bids for a period to be determined by it if, following a clarification or modification of the bidding documents or the late issuance of minutes of a conference of bidders of a site, and 4, where an extension is necessary to allow bidders sufficient time to take the clarification, modification, information into account in preparing their bids. So those are the 2 instances where that it gives for extension of the time. Now, does the reason contained in this letter fall within any of those 2 categories?
Yeah, there was only. That's why I said, unfortunately, there wasn't any other reason stated.
No, that is not the question. Can you please repeat the question so that he can understand?
So my question is whether any of the whether the reason that is stated in the letter falls into any of the two categories set out in sub-regulation 59.4.
No, Council.
So let me ask.
Sure.
The KMC letter dated the 23rd December 2022. Were you given any evidence as to communication to some of the bidders as to the extension of time?
No communication was forwarded to our office.
Did you request for that information?
We did not request for the information for the extension. However, with this invitation, if we attended the bid opening, we would have verified.
So you wouldn't know whether this bid opening was done on the 12th of January 2023. Is there any evidence to show that they actually opened these bids on the 12th of January 2023?
Yeah, there should be, before we finish, because there should be bid opening minutes and the date should be indicated there.
And your approval?
For the bid opening?
Yes, for this, because they wrote to you. Didn't they write to you?
Yes, informing us
Yes.
of their intention to extend it.
Yes, Council, you can continue. Thank you.
I wanted to refer you back to the letter dated 12th December 2020 that they had sent to you.
From KMC?
Yes. Well, from Canifing Environmental Transformation Program.
12 December, yes, Council.
So at the letter, it says below are the names listed for RFQ. The name of the letter is restricted tender. Can you tell us from the documents that are in the file, is this correct?
Yeah. The letter I have here dated 12 December. The heading is Submission of Companies for Restricted Tender.
Yes. But at the end of the letter, at the end of the first paragraph, they have said below are the names of companies shortlisted for RFQ.
Yeah.
Did they have any requests for quotation?
This one is a tender.
I know, but they're now talking about RFQ. That's why I'm asking you.
Yes, this one is tender. Normally they will write to the pre-qualified bidders, the 4 bidders, to invite them to tender.
So I don't think you understand what I'm saying. The first paragraph of that letter, at the end, it says the names of companies shortlisted for
RFQ. Yes.
on the first paragraph.
Request for quotation.
Right.
Yes.
So that's why I'm asking you. Is it that they sent out requests for quotation?
There is no evidence here.
Let me ask you. So how would you reconcile the fact that what they are writing to you is for you to give authorization for restricted tender, and now they are saying that below are the names of companies shortlisted for request for quotation? Is restricted tender the same as RFQ?
By procurement method, restricted tender is a procurement method different from RFQ.
Yes.
My colleague said it yesterday or this morning that even a quotation can be interpreted as a bid.
You see, Mr. Tamura, we have difficulty in appreciating what sort of principles you apply, because Mr. Sanyang has taken us through the different methods of procurement, and was given by Mr. Sanyang to the processes so that we understand, and we understand them in tandem with the forms that are accompanied with these processes. So if restricted tender is not the same as RFQ, because we have seen in the law the requirements of a restricted tender, what you are supposed to comply with, what you're supposed to do. And for RFQ, the conditions are not the same. So it means, they write what they want, and you go along with them to approve, even whereas you realize or you understand, it's not correct. So from this letter, it is not even clear or correct as to what they are asking you for from the authority. Is that not correct?
Yes, Chair.
In any case, it is highlighted that they did not follow, they did not comply with Section 59. Right?
Yes, Chair.
And we have seen a particular trend, particularly for KMC. They will issue, they will float, they will request for approval for tender process or an order, and then write back to you to say that they want to reduce the time without having any due regard to what the law is saying. And you continue to indulge them to do that. How do you explain that?
Yes, we have seen that.
And it is throughout the KMC files. Is that correct?
Throughout,
it's files we reviewed.
Yeah.
That you see in your office.
Yeah, most of the files, we have seen a reduction of the bidding period. That's true.
Thank you. Council,
let me refer you to, sorry, before that, can you confirm if there's any evidence of the bid opening in the file? There's a minute for bid evaluation, but can you check whether there's one for bid opening?
Yes, lead council, there are 4 fields, and they are only filled during bid opening. That's Form 013, record of tender opening.
Okay. So, provide for who was present. We want to know whether your representative was present.
Okay, let me just confirm that, but normal those that are present at the bid opening are stated in this form. Council, from the bid opening form, where normally most of those present are indicated, I did not see any representative from our office. However, sometimes there could be, sometimes instead of this form, sometimes there could be an attendance register. Maybe if that is here, we may see it before. Sometimes
Where?
others will prepare an attendance register for those present at the bid opening.
So let me refer you to their evaluation of the bidding documents for the procurement of simple works. It's dated the 22nd February 2023.
Yes, Council.
Okay. So they said that the procurement method, it says a restricted tender for the procurement of simple works, construction of 4 parks with children's playing grounds at Kotu, Bundong wards in KMC was organized, and letter of invitation to bid was sent to 4 companies who are involved in the construction industry. All 4 companies submitted their bids and were evaluated by a panel of 8 members. The evaluation was conducted on the basis of fairness, impartiality, transparency, and non-eligible candidates. The list of bidders are Ndache Enterprise, MG Construction and Engineering Company, Falcon Engineering, Scope. Analysis of bids, they've said that the panel deliberated on the proposals received based on the following: full compliance to requirements, that's business registration 2022, completion of bid form, bid security, GPPA regulation, registration 2022, and then technical responsiveness and price. And from the above table, all bidders have fully complied with the requirements. All bids were evaluated according to scores given, and from the initial scoring, the following companies were ranked as below. Scope points, Falcon Engineering 75 points, Ndache Enterprise 70 points. And on the analysis, it says 1 bid was eliminated in the initial shift as non-responsive. Ndache Enterprise bid was evaluated and given a score of 70, which indicates alterations on its technical responsiveness and therefore not included in the final process. Ndache Enterprise's previous work experiences described in the bid was deemed inadequate and non-responsive to the bid. The remaining 3 bids were given a score based on their price as follows: Scope Enterprises 100 points, which is the lowest; MG Construction and Engineering 85 points, Falcon Engineering 75 points. And then the bid prices of the following companies were considered: Scope Enterprises $6,320,000 for lots 1 and 2, MJ20 Construction and Engineering $6,367,838, Falcon Engineering $11,830,400. In light of the above analysis, the committee found Scope Enterprises to be the most suitable contractor and recommended to award a contract based on the fact that they're the most technical responsive bidder and the lowest among the fully evaluated bids. Now, under the regulations, you have a provision on the request for proposals, and it requires a rotation of the number of the suppliers, of the list of suppliers that the procuring organization has, that they should ensure a rotation. Let me read it. I think that might be easier.
For consultancy?
For requests for proposals.
Yes, that's consultancy.
It's
request for proposal is consultancy.
Sorry, request for quotation.
Quotation.
Yes.
Okay.
So it says, this is Regulation 126, procedures for requests for quotations. It says quotations shall be requested by registered and independent bidders. For the purpose of determining the potential bidders to be given a procuring organization shall A, bidders selected from the list maintained by the specialized procurement unit or from its own knowledge of the market. B, ensure a fair and equal rotation amongst the persons on the list kept by the unit in respect to giving the request for quotations. Excuse me. C, submit the list to the contracts committee for approval. D, supplier is registered for the appropriated procurement request. Now, B requires that the PO ensure a fair and equal rotation in their unit. Now, I've only seen this provision for request for quotation.
Yes, Commissioner.
Is there something similar for restricted tender?
No, we have not come across that ever.
So do you see the possibility of where it's request for quotations and restricted tender, the procuring organizations sending out a list to the same companies in respect of, so if it's in this case for construction, it's the same companies that they send, that they invite to participate in the procurement?
These possibilities, but as you can rightly see, like the prerogative for establishing the list rotating it lies within the institution. But at our level, we always encourage participation or contracts are spread as much as possible so that you don't repeatedly consider the same suppliers.
So where you would see the same suppliers coming for the same, under the same procuring organization, where it's restricted tender or request for quotation, did not raise any flags?
Yes, Council, it should definitely raise flags.
So let me refer to register.
I just wanted to do it.
So
yes, whilst you're waiting to get the file, I just want to find out in the they only gave us the and the score metrics as full compliance of requirement, that is business registration, etc., etc. That is what they have provided for here. So, but then we did not see in this particular, because we used to see in some of their other procurements, they will do a matrix and tick wherever a particular bidder has cleared.
Yes.
So in this case, that is not done. I don't know how they arrived at this 85 points for scope enterprises. So would this not have raised a flag to ask, you know, how they arrived at this 85?
Normally, as you said, there should always be a matrix and explanation, detailed breakdown as to how they arrive at these things. What most of the time, the bidding documents always help us. So I can always.
This one, where are the bidding documents?
Yes. So the more in our records.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so can you provide us with
yes.
the bidding?
Most of these documents, because of space or whatever, whether justifiable or not, after review, after everything, we return this thing to the institutions. But of late, having realized that there is always the need to make reference, we have started keeping them in our records. There is somebody who's responsible. So once there is a request, we always communicate to check this for us.
We will definitely need the bidding.
Yes, and we can also.
Because for most of the files, particularly other POs, there is no metrics done highlighting the criteria as per what is provided for in the bidding documents as being the criteria for the bidders to comply with in order for them to have the possibility of getting the award.
Yes, that's true, Chair. So,
if you look at the page, that's QPPA file KMC 9 of 2022. Now, the page that I have shown you is one of the, I believe, the contracts committee or the procurement committee.
yes.
Now, what's the list of suppliers that
Are pre-qualified.
participated in? Okay.
Money Company, Falcon Engineering, University Services, Enterprise.
Now, Falcon Engineering and Scope Enterprises are also in the list of suppliers they invited for restriction in the file 13 of 2022. Is that all right?
Exactly, Council.
Now, check for me won that bid.
Okay.
The one in 922.
Contract to scope enterprise.
So that's 9 of 22, right?
Yes, 9 of 22.
And in 13 of 22 that we are dealing with substantive, it was also scope enterprise that won the bid.
Yes, Council.
Now, these two procurements were done in the same year from the same organization, from the same list of suppliers that they have. Is this something that your authority would have noticed and flagged? That you're inviting bids from, in respect of construction, you're not opening it up for more competition, and it's the same company that has won for similar projects? Is this something that your authority would have flagged?
Yes, Council. As I said, do everything to encourage institutions to spread the awards as much as possible. And please, I wouldn't want to justify the I wouldn't want to justify, but there is also an issue. For example, if this particular file is treated by a different officer, file comes with the same pre-qualified contractors treated by a different officer, it becomes a challenge at that level to know whether these same people were invited before. So, just for your information, sometimes this could be a challenge.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Tamura.
It's not a justification, but just a...
No, it cannot be, because to quickly intervene, because some of this bids ask you to state your work experience.
Yes.
And in stating that, you are giving information as to similar works you've done.
Yes.
And unless you want to cover up something, you will list the works you have done and you've done successfully. So to say that the action officer, this will escape the action officer, I don't agree at all.
No,
because being the first point, the second point is that this are required under your laws or regulations to register with us, and you have a database.
Same bidders invited by the same council in two different procurements.
And awarded.
Yes, invited.
And awarded.
Yes.
Yes.
So
that's what she said.
Yes, that's what she said.
Yes.
So I don't know whether because what I said was about the same bidders. That's what I was trying to explain, not a justification. The file was treated by Action Officer A, awarded to B. A similar request from the same institution come, but given to Action Officer C, but awarded to the same A. These are common scenarios, but not a justification. But the encouragement is to spread this thing as much as possible, and this is exactly what has happened here. The same, similar contract to the same.
You told us that when these documents are sent to your office, you review them, right?
Yes, sure.
So, is it not possible that during the you can pick up these issues and flag them, just like what council would say?
Yes, I understand. Very possible, but these are reviewed by different officers. And
do you honestly think that this justification you are giving me, is it a justification?
It's not a justification, that's what I said.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Council, you may please.
Let me refer you to the bidding document. We're back to 13 of 2022. The bidding document.
Okay.
I think page 37, article 17.1.
Of the bidding document?
Yes. Actually, go to page 7 of the bid data sheet.
Page 7.
Of the bid data sheet in the bidding document. or rather the bid data sheet is on page 7.
You said page 7 of the bid data sheet?
Yes, it's a bid data sheet on page 7. But just look for the bid data sheet.
While we allow Mr. Tamura to check through to see the, may I ask, you know, normally in the bid document, the evaluation criteria is set out in the bid document.
Correct.
And is detailed as to the points allotted to different criteria set out in the bid document. Is that how?
Actually, I think it's on section 17 of the, something like that, of the bid data sheet, where you are expected, or institutions are expected to indicate the evaluation criteria in their own portals. But there is no provision for it to be detailed, because all what expected is like you're going to look at, first you may look at the technical specifics, meaning that the first thing that you are going to consider is the technical specifications, and then you have the technical specifications where the all the requirements as far as the technical issues are concerned will be indicated, so that when that part is complied, then you refer to the evaluation criteria whether they have complied with the technical specs. So where you indicate evaluation criteria is not that detailed to indicate exactly what you're going to look. You can say payment terms, but you will not indicate the payment terms.
No, what, Mrs. Tanya, what I am asking here is not where you're going. I am asking about set criteria for evaluation. How do you the bid documents? Because if you don't specify, one cannot contest. You know, when he or she and he decides that he wants, because indicated that the bid document should be very explicit, unambiguous, so that any person that is participating in the bidding process would have clarity.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So it is the aspect I'm talking about. And when they set that criteria, they normally, you know, set the points.
Correct.
To be scored.
Yes.
Yes, that is what I'm asking. Not
yes, there is a portion in the bid.
Really is actually a fundamental requirement.
Yes,
in the bid
yes,
document.
yes. If you
so
are,
without that, what is the
no, without that is going to be very.
No, what is the consequence? Not explanation. What is the consequence?
Unfair.
There will be no basis for award of scores.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, ladies and
Did you
gentlemen.
see? Yes. Have you seen the letter?
Yes, I have seen the bid data sheet page.
Okay, so do you see how much security should be?
Which clause that means? Sorry, Council, which clause of the bid data sheet?
I don't have the bid data sheet actually, but if you lend me, I can show you.
Assistant Registrar, can you kindly collect the file?
It's on page 7 of the bid data sheet.
Yeah, I've seen the page 7.
And the amount is how much? For the performance security, how much did they put?
Here, what is written here is $100.
$100 or 100,000?
100,000. 100,000.
$100,000.
Yes.
And the regulations provide for 10%.
Yes, that's the common practice, 10%.
No, that's what's in the regulation.
Yes.
And 10% of 6,320 would be about 230 something, but a bit over $600,000.
Okay, Council.
I am asking. 10% of $6,320,000. Can you check it? You have a calculator?
Let him confirm for me.
Thank you.
10% of 6 million. 320,000. 10% of 6,320,000. Yes, he has just confirmed that it's 632,000, something like that.
$632,000.
That's 10% of the bid price.
So would you say that their performance security requirement of $100,000 suffices to meet the provisions of the regulation?
Yeah. The 100,000 is grossly inadequate.
So when they wrote to you, on 22nd February 2022, they said that they submitted the evaluation report and documentation for approval. And your office wrote back on the 27th February 2023, and you said your letter and the reference is stated, which relates to the above procurement refers, please be informed that your request for the above contract award to Scope Enterprises at a total of $6,320,000 approved. The authority's decision is based on the recommendations of your contracts committee in the attached documents. Demanded to pay the 60% of the sales of the bidding documents to the authority. And at no point have you flagged the several issues that we have raised, the non-compliance with Section 44 of that Act, or the issue that there's problems with the bidding documents. But further to that, considering that this is a new Act that you're implementing,
Yes.
and I'm sure this was one of the few that started, and there's a reason why you had a new Act, because you said that there were deficiencies with the old one. Do you not think that it was extremely important to start off on the right foot and ensure strict compliance Because for a lot of the questions that we have asked you, you have said repeatedly that this is a problem that we fixed in the new act. This is a problem that we fixed in the new act. We're making provision for it in the regulations. Now you have the new act, one of the first procurements under the act, and you're already allowing the procuring organizations to proceed with procurements without complying with the provisions of the act.
Yes, Council. This were one of the reasons for the new act. Well, as you can say, the new act came into effect in 2022, and this required in December, barely a month in 2022.
Okay. Were you not involved in the, if not the drafting, but the evaluation of the act before it was passed? I'm sure your authority was very hands-on.
Yes, Council.
So, proceed with what you were saying, and then we'll get back to that.
Yes, Council. Yeah, yeah. It's noted, understood, and there is no excuse for considering the new act, and the concerns are noted. Though internally, we had programs to really enlighten the public about the new act. By December, this thing has not started, and we thought there was a time to really enlighten.
No. Can we get that portion of your evidence? When was this legislation enacted?
November 2022.
It became law.
Yes.
When did this?
It was December 2022.
December 2022.
Yes, barely a month. And when it was enacted, I think before we received it in our office, it took some time before we officially received it. So it was barely some weeks in between. That is what I'm just trying to tell you.
Because you can see that I'm about to ask you a question about that.
Yes.
So, I don't understand. Even if you don't have the one that was passed, you would have the bill, would you not?
So
even on extensive difference between what's in the act and the bill, and even if there was, you would have prior notice or knowledge of that of that change between the bill and what's been passed. So saying that none of your office staff had a copy of the bill to guide them, because you're trying to say that it took a couple of weeks from when it was passed to when you got a copy.
Yeah, in fact, I wouldn't want to use that even as a defense in any way. I'm just trying to tell you the challenge we had internal. That's all.
I think my point is that it doesn't even sound like a challenge.
Okay.
Because you have the bill, so you have the contents. You know what is in it. If anything, until you got your act and then said, okay, staff, now you can use this act because we have it, because the old one is inapplicable, so you can't use it. So if you don't have the act that you're supposed to determine the procurement, then why are you doing it?
Yeah, I understand, and actually these were the reasons for the new act, and points and concerns are not.
Are there any provisions in this new act that provide for sanctions against your authority for failing to follow the provisions of the act?
Specifically against the authority, I cannot remember.
So the authority is okay to provide for sanctions against other parties when they don't comply, but there's nothing against your staff to comply.
I'm not sure whether there's anything against it.
Yeah. Can you check, and then we can go through that tomorrow? I'll check as well. Okay. But another question, does your authority get audited?
Yes, Council.
By national audit?
Facilitated by the national audit. We have external auditors.
Do your external auditors check whether you comply with your legislation?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, presently, as we speak, we receive a letter of engagement from, as we speak, we receive a letter of engagement from the Directorate of Internal Audit, subject was to audit. So I think that's all.
So this special audit, would they be checking whether you comply with your legislation?
No, It's a system audit. Normally, in system audit, it's always comprehensive. It looks into almost everything, all our operation normally.
Have you ever had one previously?
A system audit? Yes.
When was this?
About 10 years ago.
That was before the 2014 Act?
Yeah, but yes, I think during the... Yeah.
Yes, can you help us check when last you did, and if there is a report or findings? Or
on the system audit?
Yes.
The last one we had?
Yes. Right?
Yeah, the record should be there.
Yes. So now...
Okay.
Yes, before you conclude, I just want to... now, would it be correct to say that on the issue of complying with the evaluation criteria set out in the bidding documents, can you say the construction of 4 parks by KMC, with the criteria they themselves set for themselves?
Ascertain. Because the base will really help us to really ascertain.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Tambura and Mr. Sanya, who prepared this bidding document?
The procuring organizations.
You saw the document yourself?
Yes, normally it is subjected to our review and approval before the process.
Okay, and then you reviewed it and approved it?
Correct, yes.
And then there was a reserve price from the procuring organization that our bill of quantity, that and that. So the total bill of quantity, the cost for the project is so much. Was
Yes.
that indicated in the bidding document?
Yes.
It was?
If it is construction, yes. For
What
construction.
This one is what?
Yes, this is
It's construction.
So was it available?
Yes.
Was it provided? Sorry.
There should be.
It's provided.
Oh, it's
Tell
provided.
us.
provided,
No,
yes.
tell us. Check and tell us.
No, it's provided here.
Okay.
No,
Now, let me. Did you compare the prices submitted by the contractors and what is in the original bidding document to make comparison as to looking at the pricing?
Yes, Commissioner. Yeah, we normally confirm that, yes.
Sorry, can I just check? The bill of quantities, does it have prices? Is it amounts that's on it for the bidding documents?
Yeah, we have bill of quantities that have prices.
No, the one he's talking about, I believe.
Yes, I'm talking about this one because no process. I have a project as the procuring organization. I have to prepare the project, the quantities, and the budget so that I have an idea as to how much it is. Now, this is sent to the GPPA and the contractors. So what I'm saying is, whether they have that document which guides them as to how much the project cost should be. That's the question.
Okay, so that's why I asked him to check that bill of quantities that is contained in the bid, to check whether there's cost on it. I know that there's the amounts, each item and the amounts. I don't know whether there's actually a cost on it. So can you confirm?
The bill of quantity is here. The total figures, amounts, are not indicated, but all other features are present. Normally, from the bill of quantity, the estimate, the total amount of the bill of quantity, that's what you use also estimate, and put that in form 100. So some institutions will give us BOQs that are priced. Others will give us BOQs that are not priced. But the estimate will be transferred to the form 100. Exactly what has happened
Yeah,
here.
so there's an estimate on form 100 to 6,800,000. But then the BOQ doesn't. So, Commissioner Silla, I don't know, is that adequate? Okay.
So what is the difference when sometimes you receive some that are priced and sometimes you don't? What is the difference, and what is your preference as an authority?
Initially, case bill of quality are priced. But
and why do you do that?
So that we are able to know the hidden estimate. So that in the event of bidding, if there is a bid that is substantially above or substantially low, we'll be able to determine. Let's say 15 plus. So
plus or minus
15%, yes. We'll be able to know.
Yeah.
But if that is not provided in the BOQ, and you decide to transfer it to the 4100, we take it.
Not ask questions.
No, because the intention is satisfied now.
But you have already explained.
Yes.
Why you normally request that the price be contained therein.
Yes.
Yes, and you are now saying even if the price is not contained and is transferred to the form, is sufficient.
Yes.
Is that what you are saying now?
You know, the plus or minus 15% is about the grand total.
But you just told us that pricing would help you indicate the hidden cost.
Yes.
That does not have anything to do with the plus or minus 15%, because that is standard.
Yes.
So, but the hidden cost, you can only determine that if you know the price. Am I not correct?
Yes. Clearly.
Yes.
The hidden cost, I'm referring here to the total cost of the contractors. That's the total cost.
Yes.
So if you take that total cost now and you transfer it to the 4100, you are still communicating to us. You are still giving us the total.
That everything is okay.
When you don't have prices.
Yes. Because Mr. Sanyang told us that you sometimes conduct.
Yes.
Not all the time.
Yes.
That is to say, where you have the suspicion of doing your work, you conduct your survey to arrive at some informed decision.
Here you are referring to the price, the itemized BOQ, the price, let's say item by item before you arrive grand total. That's what you are referring to.
Yes.
That is absent here.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying.
That's absent here.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the itemized cost would help you appreciate.
Yes.
Because Mr. Sanyang told us that sometimes you do market survey.
That's true.
The resultant effect of the market survey is to help you. But if there is no price, you will not be able to assume.
That's true.
Or to make an informed decision. Yes.
Because the grand total transfer to the 4100 is just for the hidden cost. Breakdown is absent here, and it's important.
Thank you. So, Nancy, is a convenient point to stop?
Yes, very well.
Yes. So, all right, we may rise. It's already 5. We will reconvene tomorrow. Thank you.